Abdur, Cool, Shayuat, B, Wa, Samus, Patimtata. So I'm doing my SF-181 challenge, and what was my first experience when I read the description of the SF-181? This would be a lot better if I had the SF-181 in my hand. So let me go grab that real quick. Okay, according to the Census Bureau, now y'all listen up. This is very important because the 2020 fiscal year actually starts in October. So 2020 is a lot closer than you think. Okay? But according to the Census Bureau, and this is the document here, the U.S. Census Bureau must adhere to the 1997 Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, standards on race and ethnicity, which guides the Census Bureau in classifying written responses to the race question. White. These are different classifications. White. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Or North Africa. Those are all considered white people. According to OMB, also have here, according to the Board of Education, as well as the U.S. Attorney Office. They all use the same classification handed down through the OMB. Okay? So the U.S. Census Bureau must adhere. Oh, I read that. White. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Black. Or African American. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. I'm gonna repeat that. Those who's supposed to catch on will. So y'all pay attention, okay? Black or African American. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. All right now. Y'all better listen up. American Indian or Alaska Native. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation or a community attachment. Asian, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands. The 1997 OMB standards permit the reporting of more than one race. An individual's response to the race question is based upon self-identification. The OMB is on the same level as the Treasury. They report to the President of the United States Corporation. So it's federal. Okay? It says, an individual's response to the race question is based upon self-identification. Again, the Census Bureau does not tell individual which boxes to mark or what heritage to write in. For the first time in Census 2000, individuals were presented with the option to self-identify with more than one race, and this continued with the 2010 census. People who identify with more than one race may choose to provide multiple races in response to the race question. For example, if a respondent identifies as Asian and white, they may respond to the question on race by checking the appropriate boxes that describe their racial identities and or writing in these identities on the spaces provided. So, okay. So, a lot of people, before I even get to that, I mean, the whole point of why I'm doing this SF-181 experience is because I am white and I am an American Indian. And for a lot of people who look like me, they got the locks in their hair, you know what I'm saying? They broad nose, thick lips, you know, a lot of the ancient archaeologists and travelers would describe our people, you know, some of them accurately, some of them would throw shade, and call us ugly and stuff like that. And that's beside the point. Our ancestors did not self-identify as black or African American, and today you shouldn't be doing it either, because if you can, I'm welcoming all comments too. Come one, come all. If you can identify one black racial group of Africa, then I mean I'm not gonna wait, because it's not possible, because if you look at the definitions of white, American Indian, Asian, Native Hawaiian, they all begin with a person having origins in any of the original peoples. Black and African American, on the other hand, says that person have origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa that don't exist. So if you self-identify as something that don't exist, you say that you don't exist. I mean, that's just basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? That was the most significant thing that stuck out to me with this SF-181, and me, going through the process and learning, and linking with my relations and the Axakata Nation and Maku, the chief, and like it's in plain sight, like it's not hidden. Let me see. Let me go to the next part that I was gonna make a mention for, because a lot of people who are hearing this for the first time, they under the education that we get over here, will think that I've kind of fallen off my rocker, or something wrong with me. But you read it. It says, what is a race? This is at the bottom from the census.gov website. What is race? The data on race were derived from answers to the questions on race that was asked of individuals in the United States. The Census Bureau collects racial data in accordance with guidelines provided by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, and these data are based on self-identification. The racial categories included in the census questionnaire generally reflects a social definition of race recognized in this country, and not an attempt to define race biologically. Anthropologically or genetically. In addition, it is recognized that the categories of the race item include racial and national origin or socio-cultural groups. So let's switch to this next page. May choose to report more than one. Just want to make sure I went to the right one. May choose to report more than one race to indicate their racial mixture, such as American Indian and white. People who identify the origin as Hispanic, Latino, Spanish may be of any race. OMB requires 5 minimum categories: white, black, or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian and Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander. Okay, so that's the gist of it. That was my experience. You know, um, I mean, this impacted me majorly because I realized for the first time, well, not for the first time because I would often hear, but this is my first time seeing it in plain day, in plain sight, on government websites, on, how it's used throughout the rest of the contracts that we are continued perpetually in. It really just like, I mean, this whole time, my whole life, I've been calling myself black. Ain't no such thing as black or African American. I mean, if you want to self-identify, it's based on self-identification. So you can identify that, but identify with that. But you also are responsible for what comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Original peoples that go back to national origins. I was told from wee high that on my mom's side, her grandparents still wore their native garb. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not far removed from my American Indian heritage. So I've always known that, and I've always claimed that. And our status, you know what I'm saying, is white. I mean, the definition clearly says original peoples of Europe. Europe was named after Princess Europa of Ethiopia. So the original peoples of Europe look just like me. If I'm original autochthonous person of the planet, we the same people. I'm white. Original people of North Africa,